God calls us to see the invisible, the ones that are passed by. So if you're in a gathering, maybe it's in your sanctuaries, if you have buildings, maybe it's in a a meal at a restaurant, where maybe 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of you are together. And maybe it's not even this community here, because I know you guys are all over the place. But you're meeting with a group of people. Spend the first 5 minutes to see who's the invisible person. Who's the person sitting at that table that nobody is talking to, that nobody's engaging with? We're called to see the invisible. We're called to be we're called to be like Jesus, who saw Zacchaeus up in the tree and said, "What are you doing up in the tree?" He said, "Well, I wanted to see you." Zacchaeus was invisible. So he climbed up a tree to make himself visible. We're called to see the invisible. We're called to flip the narrative and say, peace with God through Jesus Christ is not just for a few. And heaven forbid, it's not just for the people that I'm comfortable with or that maybe you're comfortable with. It's with people that we may not even know. I'm in a new neighborhood, and we've been here just about 2 years now, coming up on 2 years. And I don't know my neighbors very well. We wave, we talk to them. Next door is a bi-generational home. Several of the homes are designed that way here. We're a multi-generational home. The people next to us, the parents, I'm just going to say, who are many years older than Charlie and I, live with their daughter and son-in-law and children. And so we get to know them. The grandparents only speak Spanish. So those conversations are un poco, very little. And across the street from us is I would say it's a multi-generational, because it's 2 people who are raising a grandson. And next to us is also a multi-generational. Across from us are a family, double income, no kids. What do we call those? Dinks? Double income, no kids. Yeah, dinks. They're dinks. You guys remember that? When there were those acronyms for, anyway. It's just a very, I want to say divergent. That's not the word. It's a there's multiple living areas in where we live now. And it's so opening to be in an area that is not all the same color, all the same language, all the same cars. Everything's monochromatic. In this place we're at now, there are people from all over the world. I'm just going to say I am baffled by the point that people from all over the world are coming to Florida. I just don't understand why they're not going to Oregon. I mean, because if I had a choice, it would be in Oregon. But anyway, we're called to faithfully reconcile. And by that, I mean that we cut through cultural narratives. We cut through maybe even our own prejudices, whether they are intrinsic because of how we grew up, or we've learned them, but we cut through that. And I'm not just talking language or area of birth or color of skin, color of hair, kind of car you drive. I'm not talking about any of those. I'm talking about making yourself vulnerable to say hello to another person. Make yourself vulnerable to share yourself. Our world can get really, really small if we don't see the other. Our world can be, we can be crowded and still not see. Paul is saying he flipped the narrative. He flipped the narrative by saying all persons are welcome in God's world. We do not say you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. All are welcome. Grace brings peace with God through Jesus Christ. I've talked about the neighbors who live right around me. I don't know them well enough to know if they need grace in their lives. But I know my life, and I need grace. How selfish of me to be shy or timid or just not in the mood. Today's not a good day to extend grace through a smile, a hello, I don't know. The only kind of cookies I bake are gluten-free. Nobody really wants those, so I wouldn't take them cookies. But you know what I mean? It's reaching out to another person to make contact. That's what Paul is talking about. He's flipping the narrative. He says that grace brings us peace through Jesus Christ. We're called to be those emissaries of Christ's peace. The first step to do that is to get to know your neighbors. It's to get to know a stranger. It's to help a stranger. It's to be aware that there are people who, for whatever reason, want to hide themselves. God asks us God asks us to see the invisible. One last little story. So I had surgery recently, and as I was, laying in I call it the in waiting room, where you're all hooked up to the IVs and stuff, and it's 4:30 in the morning, and it's a cold place, and there's no one around except for you. And I had two surgeons. I saw one surgeon come through and look at the chart, and then I saw the next surgeon come in. And the next surgeon was a woman, And she was a very intimidating doctor um, because her makeup was phenomenal. I mean, okay, she's looking at my nose. I mean, so she's right in my face. Well, I'm right in her face too. So I'm looking at her makeup and I'm like, who does this? Who wears makeup that is so exact and pristine? I mean, I was intimidated by how well her makeup was applied. Um, but that morning, when it was close to 5 a.m., and I sensed something in the room, and I opened my eyes, and she was kneeling down at the bottom of my bed, looking at my chart, and she did not have a speck of makeup on. Of course, she can't go into an operating room with makeup on. She has to be totally clean and disinfected. And when I laid there, it was like a nanosecond. But in my mind, it was like, oh, there you are. I see you. I want people to be able to see me. And what I hope that they see is what Paul is talking about. That, that when somebody looks at me, they get a glimpse of the peace that is found through Jesus Christ. That they see an essence of love outpouring because of the love of Jesus Christ. I hope that there are times that people can see through my facade. We all have them, right? We all do. That's what I hope. And I think that that is what Paul is talking about. We're flipping the narrative. We are not walking with people on a journey to get someplace. We're walking on a journey to see each other, to be there for each other, to see the invisible, to see those that we don't know, and then to invite them on a journey. My prayer is that you will allow yourself permission to be vulnerable to other persons so that they may see the presence of Jesus Christ through you. My prayer is that you will make yourself vulnerable so that you will be impacted, not only others, but you will be impacted when you see the essence of Jesus Christ in those around you. The theme is faithfully reconcile. Reconcile has two steps or two sides. I need to reconcile with God. I need to reconcile within myself my decision to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. But I also need to reconcile my relationships. Are they seeing the person who wants to be gracious and loving and accepting and supporting, their best cheerleader, person that will hold them up when they need help being held, person who will pray for them, the person who will have a hard conversation with them if you need to? I think that's what Paul's calling us to. Faithfully reconcile with who we are with ourselves as a disciple and who we are with others as a disciple. God's love is for all, not just for us. May we release that into the world. Amen.